Up here in Johannesburg, City Power has pulled its teams out of the local suburb of Kenilworth for safety reasons. This after residents started protesting over power outages this evening. Let's find out more now from City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangena, who joins us virtually. Isaac, thanks for your time as always. Talk to me about the situation in Kenilworth. Residents taking to the streets to protest. Is this as a result of unplanned power outages or to do with blackouts through Eskom?
Thanks for having us this evening. Yes, we had a situation in Kenilworth area where our teams were basically threatened, and there were protests in the area when we were busy doing our work. They're basically complaining about electricity outages in the area. The electricity outages have been going on for about 3 days now. We've had our teams on the ground basically working, and today they were on a site where there was a cable fault, and they were busy trying to fix that cable fault, but that's when the community started threatening and burning tires. And for safety reasons, we decided to basically pull them out so that we don't get into a situation like we have been recently, where our teams have been attacked whenever they are doing their jobs. We've seen those incidences in Joburg CBD, we've seen them in Lenasia area, in El Dorado Park as well. We've also seen a situation, you'll remember 2 weeks ago, when our two of our security guards were basically shot dead in the city of Johannesburg when they were busy patrolling some of the cable theft hotspots. So we are always having this issue of our teams feeling under threat. I was talking to one of them last week who was telling me that in the past they used to basically pray when they leave work, when they leave home, that they come back without any electrical accident. But these days they're actually praying that they come back without any, whether being shot or have their possessions, the cell phones or the laptops stolen from them, because we've had those incidents happening recently. So that's why we decided, for safety reasons, let's pull out our teams, and we will come back only after the situation has actually subsided.
Isaac, it's really sad that I have to ask you this question, but we've seen this with our health professionals who man our ambulances in certain areas. Is it not time then to look at extra security for teams who have to be out on in the field, especially those who have to go out in the dead of night?
I'm sure you'll agree with us that we shouldn't even be at this stage whereby service providers, electricity or water or even health service providers, need to be escorted to go.
No, I completely agree with you, and that's why I said to you, I feel really sad that I have to ask you this question, but it is the reality that we're living, and you've just read off a shopping list of incidents just over the last couple of months, if not weeks, and that's why I'm asking you if it is not time. And as much as we don't want to admit that this is what our service providers now need, perhaps it is time, because their lives are at risk.
It is a reality, and that's what we are actually mulling over, to ensure that the safety of our workers is guaranteed, but also to ensure that we basically provide the service that we are meant to supply. Our work as City Power is to basically provide electricity. We are not equipped in terms of dealing with criminals or people that may try to attack us. We have tried to beef up security. We have also the JMPD and the SAPS that we have been talking to ensure that wherever we are going, we actually have at least their support, so that we can deal with these outages and ensure that electricity supply. But I must tell you that, like this afternoon at 6 o'clock, we had about 3,000 calls outages. Imagine if on each of those call outages we have to attach a JMPD. It means that the job that JMPD that is supposed to do, which is to basically ensure that the residents of the city are safe, the roads are also okay, and they deal with the bylaws as they're supposed to do, will basically be lacking on the side while they're busy trying to escort the emergency workers, the City Power, Joburg Water, and even the ambulances. So it's not a situation that we're supposed to be living in. But that's why we're appealing to the community to ensure that they deal with their own issues and ensure that their own people do not attack the city service providers when they come to basically ensure that that service is available in those areas. We will be talking to, in the case of Kenilworth, we'll be talking to the councillor tomorrow. Actually, we are currently talking to him so that tomorrow our teams can move in the morning and ensure that they deal with the outage that is currently ongoing, because we were actually repairing it, and by this evening we're supposed to be restoring those people. So while we are busy talking to the law enforcement agencies, the JMPD and SAPS, we're also appealing to the communities to basically ensure among themselves that they actually are the ones that are protecting the City of Johannesburg municipality workers when they come into their areas to provide services, because it cannot be right now that they are inconvenienced. They'll go for another night without electricity just because of the few people that have actually been threatening the lives of our workers.
If I can ask you one more question just about the situation in Kenilworth, were you able to deduce whether it was frustration that had bubbled over, that people had waited for 3 days for somebody to come and have a look at what the fault was, A? Or B, is it an element within the community that actually wasn't interested in protesting their current situation, and it was just looking to make a nuisance of themselves or to cause harm to the City Power officials? What do we know about that exact situation?
Look, in South Africa these days, you've got a situation where even where there are legitimate concerns from communities, where they are protesting for legitimate reasons, there will be those criminal elements that will crop in. But you'll only know of those criminal elements when actually criminality happens. And we don't want a situation where we have to basically see and here for us to basically react. So we always want to make sure that the safety of our employees are protected and safeguarded before we can actually do anything. Because of the recent experiences that we've had, like I mentioned, 2 of our security guys were shot just a few days ago in Newtown when they were responding to a hotspot of cable theft in that area. Yesterday, we arrested a suspect at Sidna substation. You'll remember this is the same substation 2 weeks ago where 10 people barged into Sidna substation. It's near Melrose Arch, where they basically held our security guys, and they basically stole the cables around that area. In Lenazia, we've had situations where the team, while they were working, a laptop and cell phone and other equipment that was on them were actually stolen this past week. So you always have these teams that are actually working with fear that anything might happen if this kind of things happen. So when you've got people that are angry that they did not have electricity for 3 days, and we really apologize for that, and we've been communicating to them to say these are the issues that we're having. We've got lots of vandalism in Kenilworth, Terfontein, Rosettenville areas. We also have cable thefts that are happening there. But in this instance, the issue that we were looking for was actually multiple cable faults, and that we actually located, and the team was actually trenching to ensure that we expose the cable, we seal it, and we restore electricity. And that's when their lives were regarded to be under threat, and that's when we decided to pull them out. So it's not something that we actually plan for. Our work is to basically provide service, electricity service to the residents of the city, but when our lives are in danger, we always seek for safety first.
Just before I let you go, Isaac, I mean, it must be very difficult for you as well as your staff, because to a certain extent, South Africa's got an issue with electricity, whether it is power outages or blackouts put in place by Eskom, or there are faults caused by an aging system and City Power trying to fix things as it comes up on their work list. You and your colleagues are the face of electricity to many community members. So unfortunately, it seems that if people don't have anybody else to take their frustrations out on, it's City Power or the person in the orange and yellow jacket that's coming there just trying to create a fault or a trip that's happened. But then you also get a good story like the one that happened at Eldorado Park now this week, where I think City Power tweeted it, a picture of sandwiches and soup that the local community had brought to the City Power staff members who were working through the night to really fix what what was really a very big problem. It must be really tough to be so front and center, so community facing, because you really don't know what you're going to get on any given day, as difficult as your job is working in a power utility in South Africa.
Indeed, that's true. And, you know, we are always, you know, we're always in this kind of a situation where we actually don't even, some of these issues, when they happen, we don't actually anticipate them. Ours is to basically ensure that we provide electricity to our residents. That's the fundamental, the basic reason why we exist. And when the electricity is not there, we actually spend sleepless nights. Our acting CEO, Mr. Fularo Mashava, actually wakes up each one of us if there is an issue in any region. She makes sure that the person that is responsible, the general manager that is responsible there, is not actually sleeping until the people that don't have electricity have electricity. So we are also, even currently at El Dorado Park, where we are talking, we've been there since Thursday when the fire broke out. We've been working even during the rain to ensure that at least we move towards the deadline that we gave the community, that by Wednesday latest we should be able to provide electricity. And we really appreciate the gesture of the communities, not only El Dorado Park residents, it's actually most of the residents of the city of Johannesburg. Whenever we've got situations where they know that they cannot even themselves deal with, and they understand the pressures and the situations that we're working under, they come through, they sit with us. Security, guarding our infrastructure as we are working, because there is a problem of vandalism, there is a problem of cable theft in that area. They've been providing their own security. In Rudeport, we had a similar situation where people actually came out with their neighborhood watch to ensure that everything that when we are busy working during the downtime, when it's dark, criminals obviously take advantage of that. They actually provided their own security. They come with a dinner, they come with coffee, they come with tea, cold drinks, water, and so forth, and we really appreciate that. But on the flip side, you also have those residents who are actually angry when they don't have electricity for such a long time, and we really are also feeling that kind of pain that people are not having electricity, something that we are supposed to be providing. And that's why we're worried about the situation that happened in Kenilworth and Rosettenville areas.
Okay, Isaac Mangena there. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your insight and for being so open about what it's like working in the world of power provision in South Africa. He's the spokesperson for City Power. It does sound like his dinner's being dished up for him tonight, so we're going to let him go there. Thank you for your time, as always.